Welcome to Financial Fire TV, a set for on-screen financial empowerment. Hey everyone, I am Cheryl D. Marks, financial coach, kingdom educator, author, producer, and speaker. And I help Christ-centered entrepreneurs and individuals in the marketplace regain power over their finances and how to become independent of the world system. Here at Financial Fire TV, you're going to always get anointed tips, principles, and strategies that you can begin to apply in your day to day operations when it comes to your personal finances. Today on Financial Fire TV, I want to share with you some numbers, if you will. I want to share numbers with you, which makes up statistics. As you hear these numbers, you hear the statistics, I want you to see people because we as people, we are the ones that make up these numbers. And when you hear these numbers, I want you to begin to listen to the numbers and see where do you fit in the equation. Because you're going to see these numbers that I'm giving. It has to do a lot with the rich, the poor, the middle class. It has a lot to do with all of us as individuals. So we're going to dive into these numbers. And please listen careful. And again, see, where are you at in these numbers? Before we get into the numbers, I want to thank everybody in advance for already subscribing to our YouTube channel. And if you have not, I am going to ask you if you would go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so that every time we go live, you'll be one of the first ones to get these anointed tips, strategies, and principles. So go ahead if you have not already and hit the notification bell, subscribe to our channel so you can be aboard and be a part of the great things that are happening. So now let's get ready to go into our segment for today. Now I'm going to share this with you. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, they recently issued a quarterly report. And I must say again, I was kind of taken by these numbers. According to the report, it shows an increase in total household debt, increasing by $148 billion. That brings it up to 0.9% increase. And so now there's an established number of $17.05 trillion debt. And again, showing an increase in total household debt, total household consumption. So when I hear these numbers, and you're going to hear some more numbers, I want you to ask yourself the question, what are these numbers communicating to us as individuals and also to us collectively? Let's hear some more numbers. Balances now stand $2.9 trillion higher than at the end of 2019, and that is before the pandemic recession. Now, when we hear that, this is before the pandemic recession, and so now here we are too, right at 3 years, we have to ask the question, what is going on? What is it that we didn't learn as individuals? What is it that people are still doing to cause these numbers to steadily increase? Mortgages balances rose modestly, it says by $121 billion in the first quarter. Are you hearing the key words? In the first quarter. And we're talking about the first quarter, and we're only in the month of May, and we have many more months to go. If all of this is taking place in the first quarter, somebody needs to get your attention. And also it says, and stood at $12.04 trillion at the end of March. Again, all of these numbers represents the first quarter of the year. Credit card balances, though they say the credit card balances kind of flattened out in the first quarter, but again, credit card balances, $986 billion. And loan balances, they increased as well by $10 billion. This is alarming to me. This is really getting my attention. Is it getting your attention? How much of this debt is yours? Let's continue looking at these numbers. Student loan balances, they slightly increased as well. So student loan balances increase now, and it stands at $1.60 trillion again in the first quarter. Other balances, which include retail cards and other consumer loans, increased by $5 billion. Wow. Why did retail cards increase? 3 years of sitting in isolation, why did the retail cards balance increase? Because people found out a lot of the retail cards, they can use them for other things. So they continue to use the retail card balances. And again, it began to increase up to now $5 billion in total. Back to the increase in the total household debt. So now the report reads non housing balances grew by $24 billion. This is alarming to me. These are real numbers. These are statistics. These numbers makes up everyday people. Let's keep listening to the report. Limits on home equity. Limits on home equity lines of credit were up to $9 billion in the first quarter. Again, people, with all of these numbers, all of these statistics, all of these dollar signs that I'm putting out there, all of the credit cards, all of the total household debt, all of the things that happen, the retail cards, all of the things that makes up this, the student loans, and I can go on and on and on. And though all of this was increased debt, all of this now comes with delinquency, where people are behind on these things, people. Listen to me. We have got to keep talking. This is why Financial Fire TV exists, in order that I can get your attention and you can begin to see where you fit at in the equation, and we can begin to make some adjustments starting now. Let's continue. So when we look at this right here, if you don't remember anything else, I want you to be reminded that financial debt is not okay. Being in debt is not okay. We live in a society where so many people have tried to normalize debt as if it's okay. It's the way to go. This is how we live. This is what we do. But this is not okay. You know, if we talked about debt alone, someone probably would tell you that there's a thing called good debt. And I understand what they're saying. They're saying that how you have to get debt in order to establish your credit. And I get what they're saying. But I want you to be reminded, you have to decide if you're going to live by the worldly principles or are you going to live by the kingdom principles. And even though you may be in debt right now, I want you to renew your minds and I want you to begin to think from the supernatural. And the word of the Lord said, God said, I wish that you will owe no man anything but to love them. That is the only debt that he wants us to be in, and that is to love one another. Now, know when it comes to renewing your mind, that is not as easily said as done. Because when it comes to renewing your mind, sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need assistance. Sometimes you need someone to hold you accountable. So I do understand that renewing your mind is not always as easy as said as it is actually being done. But that is again why Financial Fire TV exists, so that we can help you take a closer look at where you're at, where you like to be in your finances. So as always, I always encourage you, come a little closer and let's get together and have a non-intimidating conversation about where you're at with your finances, what your finances look like. Where would you like to be in your finances? And let's take it from there. Here at Financial Fire TV, we offer online individual coaching, and that is what we do. We sit down with you one-on-one and we take a look at your finances, where you at, where you like to be, and what we can do to put systems in place in order that you can get to your desired result. Again, these are numbers that I want you to understand, and we're not going to normalize debt because that is not okay. Let's continue to see what else we want to talk about today. So when people get to the place and says, you know, that is okay, debt is okay, this is what we do, this is how we live. And also people have become so accustomed to struggling as if that is okay as well. Barely getting by, living from paycheck to paycheck. And sometimes people are not making it paycheck to paycheck. They're living from day to day. Again, struggling, living from paycheck to paycheck. That is not okay. And there are principles that we can put in place and that can put a stop to the things that you're doing and cause you to be able to live a life of financial freedom. I hope that I have your attention. Let's continue to see what we want to talk about here on today. Be reminded the word of the Lord in Jeremiah, the word says, for I know the plans that I have for you. So the plans that God has for all of us, it is plans for us to prosper, plans for us to have good success. It is plans for us to have a future. It is plans for us. And when I read in these plans, nowhere did I ever see that there was a plan in there for you to be in debt. There was never a plan for you to normalize debt. There was never a plan for you to struggle. But there are plans for you to have a fortune, and there is plans for you to have good success. So again, this is what financial fire is all about. It is all about helping you regain power over your finances. It's all about helping you to get away from debt, get from under the oppression, the depression that brings that debts bring, to get away from the lifestyle of being in distress, discontented. It's to get you from under those places and away from those places of struggling. So when we look at everything that's been said and these numbers, I hope that they have your attention. And I want you to be reminded of this right here. The reason I said that you have to decide if you want to live under the world system, and that is what the world system does, get in debt so you can establish your credit. But be reminded, the world system was never put in a place for you to be financially free. The world system was never put into place for you to get ahead in your finances. It will never work, and it was not designed to work. So when we hear these numbers again, debt has been too far normalized. So we cannot keep normalizing debt. We cannot keep saying that it is okay. Debt has been so normalized, I have here in my notes, that most people find it unbelievable that they can really, really, truly be debt free. But I'm here to tell you it is possible. Yes, we can make adjustment. Yes, there's plans you can put into place. Yes, there are strategies that you can follow. Yes, there's things that you can do to be consistent, and it will happen. Now, will it happen overnight? No, it's not going to happen overnight. You did not get into debt overnight, and it's not going to happen overnight. But one thing you can do overnight, and you can change your mindset. You can change the way you've been doing things and get on the right track and get you into a place of financial freedom. So I want to leave you with this right here, and I want to ask you some questions to really just have you thinking, because you're the one at the end of the night who has to deal with these questions. So if I should ask you this right here, are you ready to dismantle debt? Are you ready to dismantle debt? I believe that you are. Another question for you today. Do you need help with setting up a budget that works for you and your household? Because all budgets are different. Maybe you budget in the past and it didn't work, or maybe you became overwhelmed and you just threw it all up in the air. But there are budgets that we can put in place that will help you and your household with what it is that you are trying to accomplish. So again, do you need help with setting up a budget plan? Another question I want to ask you here on today. Do you struggle with compulsive spending? Do you struggle with compulsive spending? It's not that you're a bad person, but there could be some underlying things. And I would love to talk to you to see what are those reasons that cause you to spend compulsively. What are those reasons that cause you to buy? Why did you buy the last thing that you purchased? We want to talk about things like that. And another question I want to ask you here today. Are you ready to start your journey to financial freedom? Listen, people, it is really possible for you to be debt free. And I'm going to encourage you to join the hundreds who have been under this program right here, and they're finding themselves in debt reduction. First, because we reduce the debt. And they're finding themselves to be able to get their heads above the water. And when you get your heads above the water, then you can be more hopeful. And then we can continue to deal with all of the other things that is causing you to be financially bound. So here's what I'm going to do as always, because I'm never going to give you information without an answer, a solution to the problem. So I'm going to ask you to enroll in our financial fire coaching. Financial fire coaching, this is a coaching right here for individuals. This is coaching right here where you and I come together. We do everything online. We set up sessions. We meet once a month and we begin to dismantle your debt. That is what we do. So we get together 5-6 sessions and we do it once a month. Everything is done online. And then there we can have those non-intimidating conversations. Look at things, face the giants, and begin to put things in place so that you can come out of financial runs. I believe that you are considering things that has happened here. Things has been said. So I'm going to look forward to seeing you real soon. I'm going to ask you right now, go to our online school, make the reservation, enroll today. You can go right there to CherylMarksEDU.com And there you can enroll in our financial individual coaching. And we're going to help you get out of this rut. And also, while you're there, there's some other things that if you see something that you feel that can help you, please take advantage of the courses and join the millions, join the thousands of people who are getting up out of debt. And we're doing it, and we're doing it intentionally. Again, I stand here to say it is possible. I did it, and you can do it too. Thanks, everyone. Again, you have been watching Financial Fire TV. I have been your host, Cheryl D. Financial Fire Marks. Thanks, everyone, and I look forward to hearing from you real soon. Goodbye.